The trap of someday is killing your momentum. You know that project you keep saying you're going to get to someday, but that day never comes? Well, in today's episode of Be Unmessable With, I'm going to show you how collaboration, not motivation, is the real secret to keeping momentum alive and staying in creation mode instead of reaction mode. Hey there, welcome to Be Unmessable With the podcast. This is the Turbo Tip of the Week episode. And today we're going to dive into a secret weapon for keeping momentum alive and avoiding the dreaded someday trap, and that secret weapon is collaboration. And you have probably experienced this before. You start a project and you're full of energy and excitement, but somewhere along the way, things stall. They get stuck or thwarted. It could be because priorities shift or deadlines slipped or the team fell into some sort of passive state of waiting for someday. But the problem is someday is not a real day, as you may have heard me say many, many times. You will never find it in your calendar. It's more like a pseudonym for no action. Okay. So today we're talking about how effective collaboration can not only keep projects moving, but also keeps you out of reaction mode and full on into the world of creation. So let's talk about why momentum stalls. When we're working solo or in isolation, which it's very easy to do in many projects these days, especially since COVID, we work a lot more from home, and being in isolation is a little bit more of a default mode. So it's easy to get stuck when you're working alone. Without external accountability or regular check-ins, we often find ourselves kind of reacting to whatever's coming at us, like the most urgent thing rather than, proactively moving forward with what we said we're committed to. And when a team is involved, this dynamic can be exponential and actually snowball. You might be thinking, oh, well, somebody else will take the lead or we'll figure it out in the next meeting. But if everybody is waiting for someone else to take the lead, progress kind of slows down to a crawl or a complete halt. That is why collaboration is so powerful, because it can turn passive waiting into active engagement. It can create alignment, accountability, and a shared sense of purpose or vision that keeps everybody moving forward and coming from that space of creation. So here's how collaboration can work to keep momentum alive rather than have it die off and fizzle out. So the first thing is it can keep the ball rolling. So when you're collaborating effectively, regular check-ins and meetings and, ensuring that things are moving forward rather than getting stuck. Every time you meet, you are reigniting the momentum, reviewing the progress, debriefing what's working, what's not working, and setting up the next steps for each team member. It's like a rhythm that keeps the ball rolling, keeps the project alive, keeps momentum going. So, for example, if you think about a group project that you've worked on without regular updates or check-ins, things tend to stall or, start to fizzle out completely. But when there's a set schedule of weekly check-ins or clear deadlines, and progress then can become steady and reliable. And even when there's a breakdown, you debrief it as a team and then correct whatever there is to correct so that you can start moving forward again. The second thing that it does, or it can do, is it can shift you from reaction to creation, which is a big part of all the work that I do with people. Because when there's no clear collaboration or alignment, it's easy to slip into reaction mode. Like, this person should be doing this, or I shouldn't be blah blah blah. The shoulds and shouldn'ts and the goods and bads come into play a lot when there aren't clear roles and responsibilities, and the collaboration isn't outlined effectively. So this looks like, like in your life, what it would look like is responding, but really reacting to last minute crises or miscommunications or unclear goals. But effective communication or effective collaboration really does create clarity. It shifts the focus from what do we have to fix to what are we creating? What's possible? What actions do we need to take to fulfill on what we're creating? This simple mindset shift of from what's wrong to what's possible shifts you from reacting to creating. And it fuels innovation, and it keeps the team energized, and it avoids burnout too. So not too shabby. The third thing that effective collaboration can do is it can build accountability. The thing about collaboration is it's harder to procrastinate when other people are counting on you, right? So if you know you have to report back to somebody in your team, you're more likely to stay engaged and deliver on your commitments, and so are they. So this doesn't just benefit the team, it benefits you too, because that accountability creates a structure or some scaffolding that keeps you out of the trap of waiting for the mood of motivation to strike before you take action. It's kind of like, well, you got a deadline and it's going to be in someone else's world, a deadline like a domino effect. You'll be more likely to keep yourself in action. Fourth thing that effective collaboration can do, and why it kind of keeps the momentum going in a project, is the diversity of perspectives that it allows for. Because when people come together as a team, all of a sudden they're bringing different ideas and thinking and views and experiences and approaches to the table. Whereas if you're working solo, isolated, all you have is your own view, and you really can't see what you can't see. So that kind of diversity can fuel creativity, and oftentimes it leads to more innovative solutions that wouldn't have emerged from one person working alone. They say a group of minds is better than one. That can be the diversity and collaboration that actually fuels creativity. So now, how can you strengthen collaboration and keep momentum alive in your own project? So here's a few very simple but powerful steps, okay? 3 steps. One, you got to schedule regular check-ins. I know with my team, we have a huddle every Monday morning, and it's not a long meeting. You just got to schedule it so that it's not reacting to problems. It's a scheduled, designed check-in. It's a consistent habit. It's, maybe it's biweekly check-ins where the team can align, share updates, and plan next steps. These meetings can keep any project you're working on, alive and active, and it can prevent stalling and things slipping through the cracks. The second step is to define clear roles and responsibilities. Clarity is key. If you're on a basketball team and nobody knows what position they're playing, the game's going to be a mess, right? So everyone knows their role and how they're contributing to the bigger picture. When that happens, it's easier to stay focused and engaged and know who you're depending on for what, and who you need to report to for what, and who's accountable for what. So take the time in the beginning of any initiative to spell out who's doing what, and revisit the roles as the project evolves, because as projects evolve, sometimes roles can change or expand, and you want to make sure everybody is on the same page with the roles and responsibility. And then the third step is to focus on alignment. So what does that look like? It's super easy for teams to get caught up in doing stuff, like tasks, losing sight of the bigger picture or the context of why you're doing it. What is the purpose of this project? So regularly share your vision, create the shared vision, and revisit the vision as well as the goals and the actions. If you only focus on goals and actions, burnout and overwhelm will ensue, almost guaranteed. So make sure that you're constantly represencing the shared vision where everyone's aligned and the project stays active inside the world of vision, inside the world of purpose, of creation, rather than being driven into what has to happen this week. Okay, what are the actions? What are we dealing with? Because that's a different world. That's the world of reaction. So collaboration is not just about to-dos. It's not about dividing tasks like you do this and I'll do this. It's about creating a shared sense of ownership and possibility and purpose and vision. And when a team is aligned inside of a shared vision, they are engaged, they're accountable. There's no room for stagnation or passive waiting. Instead, you're actively creating something really impactful together. So here's my invitation for this week. Take a look at any project you're working on, right? And it could be on your own that you're working on it or with a team, and identify one way, one action you can take to strengthen Collaboration. Obviously, if you're working alone, one action you could take is get a team member, get somebody to work on it with you. But if you already have a team, look and see what is the one action you can take that will strengthen and clarify that collaboration. It might be scheduling a check-in huddle. Maybe it's clarifying the roles or revisiting the vision. Whatever it is, take the action and notice what happens to the momentum of the project. And let me know what happens. Let me know what you discover or what you bump up against. You can email me at joss@theartofbeingunmessablewith.com. I respond to every email, or you can comment here on the podcast, wherever you're listening or watching from. I appreciate your time. I love sharing with you the world of being unmessable with, and I will see you on the next episode. If you're ready to move from waiting for motivation to taking consistent, purposeful action, download my free Moving from Motivation into Action guide. It's direct, it's effective, and it'll help you build momentum starting right now, today. Grab it below. But here's the thing, solo effort can only take us so far. If you want to unlock next level creativity and consistency, this next video is going to show you the missing piece: collaboration. Watch it now.